Good evening. The mother of a Logan boy punched and kicked in a brutal bashing is calling for the attackers to face attempted murder charges.
She spoke exclusively to 7 News about her son's life-threatening condition as they faced court.
In the gang bashing of a defenceless boy, they acted tough when friends were filming. But when we hit record, they ran.
Your phone! You dropped your phone!
3 teenagers and an 11-year-old boy facing Beenleigh Court over the unprovoked attack.
Nothing to say?
That left a 14-year-old with a fractured head and potential permanent hearing loss after being kicked and stomped on.
Is there anything you want to say to that victim?
No.
Why did you stomp on his head?
It's sickening. I don't know what's wrong with them, honestly.
The boy's mother revealing her son's condition is so fragile, medicos have warned against returning to school or playing sport for now.
He's told that if he gets hit in the head, it could cause a brain bleed and be fatal. Like, how do you even process that? How do you process that?
All the accused given bail by police on 8 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm and 1 count of grievous bodily harm.
You want the charges upgraded?
Yeah, I do. I want the charges upgraded.
To attempted murder.
Or he could be permanently disabled for the rest of his life, and that's still not out of the picture right now. And you just get, GBH.
The young offenders may be out in the community, but under strict new rules, they can't communicate with each other and must be home by curfew every night.
As this mum returns home to a son whose skull will take 3 months to heal. Garth Burley, 7 News.
Breach of bail, go to jail is on track to become law. Live to Parliament. And Marlena Watt, the Premier, says these will be the toughest laws in the country.
Yes, Katrina, the government has prepared the legislation which is set to be introduced to Parliament this week as early as Thursday. Late this afternoon, the Premier addressed a party room meeting to discuss the changes. Serious repeat offenders will face mandatory minimum sentences.
I want to make sure that we have the strongest bail laws in the country, and I want this to be the most significant bail reforms ever done in the state.
Now, it comes after hundreds of youth detention workers walked off the job again this morning. Thousands of extra beds are expected to be needed for the bail reforms, but the government has denied there'll be capacity issues. Workers on the front line warned the system is already crumbling.
Marlena Watt at State Parliament.
Well, there were no words for the Sydney Swans, just hugs and tears on the final siren in their last game before finals.
The 5 suspended players at the centre of the sexual assault investigation have now been banned from attending the Brownlow Medal.
The tensions of the hardest week in Swans history told in the faces of the players post-match.
Very emotional scenes here on what has been a very dark and difficult week.
The fan support overwhelming for some.
They do it for us every week, but this week felt a little bit extra special.
And in a quiet player pact, each had taped their wrists, a solidarity gesture.
To rally and stand together was the most pleasing thing.
The AFL pushing on too, today launching the final series. Interesting choice of room to do it. The Pullman Hotel looming in the background as the CEO, in his first public appearance, defended the code.
I think the actions of a few don't define the actions of the entire industry.
The Pullman 5, Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner, Riley Bice, James Jordan and Nick Blakey, suspended over the hotel scandal a week ago. Further punished today, out of Brownlow night.
The invitations for the Brownlow will be going out this week. Those players won't be invited.
But technically still eligible, as an online petition demands they be kicked out altogether. The AFL also confirming none had been tested for drugs, but saying they might.
And in any event, a hair sample that would be taken, it goes back 3, 4, 5 months.
With confirmation, lawyers for the 3 women at the centre of the scandal are now claiming there were multiple assaults, not just the one police are investigating.
And whatever the outcome of the criminal investigation, we intend to explore other avenues for our client to seek justice.
All 3 seeking compensation.
We will be putting all of the relevant parties on notice in due course.
The 5 only admitting behaviour breaches.
Are you allowed to drink alcohol during the season?
You really only have a few drinks when there's a longer break.
This interview with Isaac Heaney surfacing from last year.
I'm a bit of a saint in season and loosen up in the off-season.
Not, it seems, this season. Chris Reason, 7 News.
One Nation is scrambling to clarify its migration targets after a new MP said they would be in line with Labor's plan. But an expert has slammed the entire migration debate, warning politicians are focusing on the wrong issue.
Migration policy is all about numbers, and Barnaby Joyce enumerates his number numerous times.
It's 130,000, it's 130,000, it's 130,000.
Not according to new colleague David Farley yesterday.
Potentially an extra 100,000 on top of the 130,000.
Yeah. One Nation left scrambling.
OK, so he was just wrong saying there'd be an extra 100.
There's not going to be an extra 100 on top of that, no.
One Nation now changing what the 130,000 figure represents. Its policy says it's total visas, but Pauline Hanson today says it's now a net migration figure, the number of people coming to Australia minus those leaving, a very different measure.
On migration, the one thing you think they could be consistent on, they're certainly not.
They've got to make up their minds where they sit on all of this. They're all over the shop.
Setting up three competing net overseas migration targets. Labor 245,000 this year, 225,000 next. One Nation 130,000 and the Coalition below 200,000 based on available housing.
We'd expect it to be substantially below 200,000, substantially below.
But migration experts say it's not just a misguided debate based on the wrong targets, but one missing the real point.
It was largely numerical theatre about the wrong number.
A number, he says, distorted by tens of thousands of short-term visitors whose visas were extended during COVID to fill critical labour shortages and are still here.
So our net migration issue is not an issue of arrivals. It's an issue of these delayed departures.
And One Nation's 130,000 target?
It would be an act of economic self-harm. We did a dry run of this during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was an unmitigated disaster.
The real issue, he says, is the more than 2 million people who've become permanent temporary migrants, left in legal limbo without full rights, often exploited.
That's the conversation we should be having.
But we're not. The government still hasn't released its updated migration policy after Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke's false start a couple of weeks ago. I understand the changes will go back to Cabinet in Perth tomorrow to discuss the fine detail. The latest official word on when the announcement will be made is soon. Max?
Mark Riley in Canberra. An Australian man accused of killing a Thai teenager and stuffing her body in a suitcase claims he's innocent and says he acted in self-defence. Speaking from his jail cell for the first time, Simon Carman claims the 17-year-old attacked him with a knife.
Breaking his silence from behind bars in Thailand.
Well, I'm hoping and praying that I can get released on, if not on bail or acquitted, because I have not done anything wrong.
Simon Carman claims he was acting in self-defence when he killed a teenage girl, stuffed her naked body into a suitcase and dumped her on railway tracks. The father of 17-year-old Tunchanol Dunholmer never wants him released.
I want to oppose his release on bail. I have already lost my child.
Carman claims the young girl attacked him with a knife while they argued over money.
Obviously, wish it never happened. It was unavoidable. All I was trying to do was restrain her from stabbing me. But yeah, I really feel remorseful for her family.
I don't want to hear his apology. If he is truly a man, then if he has done something, he should have the courage to accept responsibility for it.
An autopsy has revealed the teenager died from suffocation. The 45-year-old truck driver was arrested at Bangkok Airport trying to fly back to Australia. Thai police finished their investigation last week. The case will now be handed over to prosecutors. The teenager's father wants to confront Carman at court and pursue justice for his only daughter.
I had only one child. We placed all our hopes in our child and now they are gone.
Carman's been charged with murder, concealing a corpse and abducting a minor. The death penalty or life in prison waits for him if he's found guilty.